Hello YouTube fanatics and ESO lovers, welcome to another video of mine. It's been a while since I posted a video, and to be honest, the reason why it's been taking me this long is just because I've been testing a few things out on my Magplar. Now other people may have already posted their builds and so on, but I have to admit I was struggling a bit with this patch, Morrowind patch. It was an interesting patch for sure. Made some drastic changes to my Magplar. On a good news, I finally got my Inferno sharpened VMA staff. So yeah, that was quite amazing. But anyways, all right, the build. I'll just go over a few quick things here. As you know, my tune is High Elf. I decided to go with the High Elf simply because of the passives, the racial passives that the High Elves provide. The Mundstone that I'm using is the Thief. All my attributes are still on Magicka. I decided to stick with 64 on Magicka. I didn't put anything on health, which I can understand why people do that, but I'll explain that a little bit later on. Okay, the build. Now that I got that over with, so remember, so some of you were asking me before about the dual wield, double staves, sorry, and I honestly tried the double staves, which is still viable. It's still really good. There's nothing wrong with it, especially now that I have the Maelstrom Inferno staff sharpened, and I have everything else sharpened from a VMA. So anyway, so the build is this. Starting off with two Grotthar, and I'm still sticking to the 5-1-1, 5 light, 1 medium, and 1 heavy. And my heavy is coming from my Grotthar helm. My medium is coming from the shoulder. Everything else is light. So then I have, I'm running a 5-piece Julianos. So what I'm using for 5-piece, I'm using the 2 swords of Julianos, both sharpened. With one is with weapon damage and the other one is with poison. I decided to run with poison, but then the other ones are just let me see, the pants, the gloves, and the chest piece are Julianos, all with their Magicka enchants. And then the other set that I'm running is the 5 Moon Dancer. So I have the jewelry of Moon Dancer. I just don't have the swords of Moon Dancer, unfortunately. I'm not that lucky. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing for my setup. So 5 Julianos, 5 Moon Dancer, and I'm going with dual wield, dual wield swords, and a staff in the back, Inferno staff in the back. Okay. Now I guess I should talk about the food, because this will affect the stats a bit. So for Magicka recovery, and that's the big issue now, is your sustainability, correct? I've been running Witch Mother's Potent Brew because it gives you a substantial amount of Magicka recovery. However, what it does do is it lowers down your health a bit, and this is where attribute points can be put, some, instead of dumping them all into Magicka, some can be put into health to make up for the Witch Mother Brew. The other one that I often run, though, if I'm in a trial and I'm going to be activating synergies and so on, this is the food that I normally take because it brings up my my health to about 18k, give or take. So, which is the melon baked Parmesan pork. So these are the 2 foods that I normally run. Of course, for Magicka pots, these are what I call the trash pots, the essence of Magicka. And when trials and we're going for score or anything like that, essence of spell power is the ones that I like to run. So that does it. That does it for that. Now the skill points. The skill points that I'm using now. Excuse the 1 bar versus the 2 bar. The second bar is actually my front bar. This number 1 is my back bar. I have it backwards, but whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so the skills that I am using on my back bar is Blockade of Fire, Blazing Spear, Reflective Light, Rearming Trap, Channeled Focus, and the ulti is Fiery Rage, which is the Destruction ultimate. Okay, the front bar is Purifying Light, Puncturing Sweep, Harness Magicka, Radiant Oppression, aka Jesus Beam, Inner Light, and the ultimate is the Shooting Star. So those are my ultimates, my stats, and I believe I am running. Yeah, Witch Mother's Point Brew. Okay, so I'm running with Witch Mother's Point Brew. On my front bar, my stats are as follows, and this is where Julianos does a very good job. Now remember that in my front bar, I do have Julianos activated. So as you can see on my stats, my spell damage is 2,500. Spell crit is 65%, which is not bad. It's very similar to the old patch. My personal spell crit. But look at this. Magicka recovery is 1,224. This is very important, especially in trials. I mean, and even when you're doing VMA, I often run this food, Witch Mother's Potion Brew, just because of the Magicka recovery, the sustain, and with especially why you want to have a higher recovery is because of the dual wield. Because you don't have dual staves, the Magicka recovery is very important to have. Because if I had let's say what I was doing is a lightning staff in the front or inferno staff in the back, then your light attacks or even your heavy attacks, you get a substantial amount of Magicka back from that, right? But because I'm wearing the dual wield, well then I don't have. I need another means to get my Magicka back, and that's the way I've done it. Now I should point out that this build is for trial. I mean, even if you take this build into VMA, I don't think the Moon Dancer would be any benefit to you, at least the 5-piece, just because there's no synergies for you to activate. You can't activate your own synergies. So the Julianos would be fine though. I've done VMA with Julianos. But anyways, I will do another video for my Magplar for VMA, only for VMA, and I'll talk about the skills as well, because I changed a little bit of the skills as well. So anyway, maximum Magicka is 40,335, which is not bad. It's not bad. With the max Magicka and max health food, my max Magicka goes up to about 40. Was it 42 or 43? Something like that. I'll show you after. My maximum health, and this is where it hurts. Even though I have the 511 with the food that I'm running, which concentrates more on the Magicka recovery, my maximum health is only 15,124. Now, when you're in a trial and you get the buffs from the group, my health, I believe, goes up by 1,000, so about 16k. So I'm sitting at about 16k worth of health, which, I'm not gonna lie, you can get one-shotted, especially if you go to VSO and those damn trolls. But whatever, it is what it is. Maximum stamina is 10,123. So that about does it. That about does it for the build. Let's go to the champion points. Now let me just see. I think I have it. Yeah. Anyways, I'll talk about that after. Let's start on the green tree. On the tower, the warlord, I put 50 points into the warlord. Basically reduce the cost of break free by 18%. So the warlord there. Arcanist, I put 90 into Arcanist, increase your Magicka recovery by 14.8%. Tenacity, increase the Magicka and stamina, your fully charged heavy attacks restored by 13.59%. So, not bad, not bad. I think an Arcanist, I may have a little bit too much. I was using a little spreadsheet that I found in the internet that does a little bit of a breakdown for the champion points. And that's how I came up with this. But I think an Arcanist, I think the magical number now is 75. If you go any more than 75, you're kind of just wasting points. But whatever. That's my personal choice that I went. On the Shadow, I didn't put anything on the Shadow. The Apprentice Elfborn, I put 44% for a 17.17%. For critical strike and Magicka abilities. Elemental Expert, I went with 56 points in there. Spell Erosion, I put 10 in there. On the Atronach, Master at Arms, I put 20 points in there. Staff Expert, I put 5 points in there. And this is pretty good. If you go in double staves, you may want to put a little bit more points into this, because of, well, basically increase your damage done with light and heavy attacks for destruction and restoration staves for a 3. So you know, this is, if you go in double staves, you think you would want to put a little bit more points in here. You'll definitely benefit from it. The ritual thaumaturge, I always stick with the 75 points in thaumaturge, simply because in the group, in the trials that we go into, we always have someone with the lightning staves, so that works for everybody. That's about all in there. And of course you want the exploiter passive. Now the steed, ironclad, I put 70 points in there. 70 points in ironclad. Thick-skinned, I put 40 points in thick-skinned. Now here's where it gets interesting. Now this setup that you see right now, this is what I was doing vet SO with. I put 80 points into hardy. I think the magical number is 75, but I decided to put 80, and then elemental defender 20. So yeah, but anyways, if you really wanted to have an all-round setup, basically what you would do is you would just make this even. Hardy and elemental defender, you would make it even. Confirm. It would look something like this. Hardy and elemental defender 50-50 and thick skin 40. But however, depending on what trial you're on, for example, if you're doing vet SO where it's all physical and poison and so on, you would want to pile in as many as possible into hardy, and maybe not have that, maybe have 10 in elemental defender. All right, so now on the Lord, I don't have anything on the Lord. Yeah, and that, I think that about does it for the champion points. So that's how I have my champion points set up. Now as far as the rotation and DPS and so on, I did a video that I was streaming, and a couple of friends of mine were helping me work on my rotation, a new rotation that I had to come up with. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I struggled with the rotation for my Magplar. I had a rotation with the Morrowind. I had to change my rotation, so which is fine. I kind of got it down now. I just need to run with it. But I'll do a separate video about the new rotation that I have for my Magplar. Now with the new rotation that I have, I think I finally hit 31k, or yeah, just over 31k DPS. Which is still not bad. There's still room for improvement, but what the most important thing right now in this patch is the light attacks and heavy attacks, for sustainability, and yeah, most importantly for sustainability and for DPS. It actually helps quite a bit. So, but there you have it, folks. I believe I talked about everything on my tune. If you have any questions or wish for me to go through something else in more detail, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if not, I will catch you on the next video, which hopefully should come soon. All right, cheers. Have a good one.